Hello everyone. Today I am here to explain about another concept from Python. So in the last session we discussed about conditional statement, looping statements, right? For loop as well as while loop. In today's class we are going to discuss about functions in Python. So you know what is function? Function is nothing but function is a sub program which performs some particular task, or I can say function is a small program which performs some definite task. So there are many examples for that. Let us say you want to find out square root of a given number. You can use some built-in function called sqrt function, correct? Or if you want to find out length of any function, correct, length of any function, then you can use strlen or len function, max function, minimum function, sum function. So in Python there are many built-in functions, but today here we are going to discuss, or we are going to learn about user defined function, how to write user defined function in Python. So Python has a syntax called DEF. DEF stands for definition. DEF. DEF stands for function. It indicates a function or a definition of a function, correct? Okay, DEF followed by a function name. Let us say I want to have my function name as show function. Show function. So def show, this is my function name. This is how the Python interpreter will identify this is the beginning of the function, and the function name will be a show function. And as you know, function should be ended with circular braces, open circular braces, close circular braces. And as we know, so every like for loop, while loop, they end with what? Colon. In the same way, functions also end with colon. This is the syntax for writing functions in Python. You know, I think you know why do we need functions? Functions, as I said, if you have a big program, you want to divide that program into smaller parts, and you call those smaller parts. Those smaller things will perform some particular task. So in real time also we divide the task into small tasks, and those tasks will be given to different people. Each people will be responsible for some part of the task, some part of big task, and they will finish the task and they will come back. In the same way, whenever we call show function, it will do some task and it will come back. So this is what the function name, a function, this is how we identify a function. Let us say I want to have a function body. Again, indentation matters. Indentation is very important in Python. So once you define the function, it can take parameter or without parameter also. Here in the beginning we are writing without parameter the show function. Let us say I should have some indentation. Whatever you write, the function body should have the same indentation. The entire indentation should be with same space, I can say. Let us say I want to print like hello. Whenever I call show function, it should say hello. It should say hello. Let us take, I will remove this as show. I will say Siri. You know Siri, right? Who is Siri? Siri is a voice assistant, correct? When I call Siri, that function should tell back me, or it should reply me with message called hello. Okay, this is my function body. So you can just think I have written only one line, but still you can write how many lines of code you want. So for my purpose, my task is to print only one line of message, that is hello message. Now this is what the indentation I have. I don't have any other statement to be executed by this function. So what I will do, I will close. Means closing means just close the indentation. This is the one indentation. Just I am coming back out of the indentation. Then I will call Siri function. This is the function call. This is called as a function call. This is the function header. This is the function body. Function header with function name, and the colon should be there, and this is the function body. Function body has got only one statement to execute, and here I have a function call. Whenever I call Siri, so it will go to Siri function, and it will execute the statement, it will execute the function body. And you should remember, you cannot write Siri means function call, you cannot have before function body. First you should have function body, then you should have a function call. That is the common syntax, common general knowledge. Whenever you write any programming language, the function body should be written before calling any function. Now whenever you call Siri, it will go to Siri function without any parameter. It will go to Siri function and it will print the body of the function. Hope you understood. This is how we write a very simple function. The output will be, one time you will get hello message. So you can ask me, sir, can I execute any number of times? Yes, if it is possible. If you want to get message one more time, you can say Siri, one more time Siri. If you want to say one more time Siri. Now I have called function for 3 times. I have called, calling is, you can do calling multiple times, but I have function body only one time. Okay, now I have called function 3 times. So you should get output 3 times, means you will get message 3 times. Hello message will get printed 3 times, right? That is very simple. So 3 times get executed. Now each time I don't want same message hello. Instead of that, I want hello Anand, hello Kumar, hello MIT, hello CSE. Means whenever I change my words, it should along with my message, it should say hello. Let us say hello Prasanna, or hello Shashidhar, hello Raj. So each time whenever I give new names, it should give me a message like hello plus the whatever words I have given. So that is called as parameter. So whenever you say a function to do some task, along with the function calling, you need to pass some parameter. Whenever you pass parameter, it will accept the parameter, and what it will do, it will perform some particular task based on your instructions, but it can also accept some parameters. Now as I said, I want my function to print some message along with some name. Let us say I will say Siri Anand. So whenever you have function call, because I am passing string values, they are enclosed with double quote. If you are passing some float value or integer value, no need to have double quotes. Simply pass float values and integer values. Let us say I said Siri Anand. I said Siri Anand. The same message I say Siri Raj. I say Siri MIT. So I am passing string values. So whenever you pass some parameter, there should be some receiver. So I can say these are the actual parameters, these are the formal parameters. Actual parameters, a formal parameter. So whenever you pass a parameter, there should be some formal parameter to receive it. Correct. So temporarily these data will be copied to a formal parameter. Let us take that as, let us say name. So as you know the Python syntax, here I am not declaring or I am not defining data type of a variable called name. Here name is just a variable. So if you pass string, it becomes string data type. If you pass float, it becomes float. If you pass some other character, so or integer or float, it becomes that particular type of data, correct? So now name is a variable, correct? So now I want to print, along with hello message, I want to print name. So what I will do, I will concat definition Siri, and name is a variable, this is a function name, what data to be accepted. The data during the call will get accepted through this particular parameter. This is a parameter. So next I am printing print hello name. So now whenever I pass Anand, it becomes hello Anand. Hello Anand. Correct. Whenever I pass Raj, it becomes hello Raj. Whenever I pass MIT, it becomes hello MIT. So this is how it accepts parameter. It accepts parameter. Anand get accepted through this parameter. So whenever this function is called Siri Anand, so Anand is copied to name, and name is a string along with hello. So both are string. They are get concatenated. So you will get the output. So this is how we pass parameter to the function. So next we will understand how to return the values, return value and return statement. There is a keyword called return. So whenever we ask some function to do some task, it has to give back something, correct? So here we are calling a Siri function. It will go, it will perform some task. It is coming back with none, means it is not giving you any value, none. I can say there is a value called none which does not store anything. Means it is not an integer, it is not a float or boolean, or it is not a string. It is a none, nothing. So none. So whenever you call function without any return statement, it will not give back. It will not give back anything. That is called as none. Nothing will be returned back to the callee. Correct. So let us see the example of return statement. Let us say I want to add two numbers. Adding two numbers is very simple, but I am taking very simple example. Later you can convert it to a very complex function. Here I am taking adding two numbers, means you have a function. If you pass two parameters, or if you give him a parameter like two numbers, he will add those two numbers and he will give back you the result. So that is what the simple task. I have a function. If you give two numbers, it has to add and it has to give back to the callee. So for that, again I am writing a function called def. Okay, let us say I take function name as total. My function name is total. As I said, I need to take two parameters. Let us say I take x comma y, two parameters. I know where I am mentioning data type of parameter. It is implicit or it is dynamic data type, dynamically typed language, because Python. So def total x comma y. So if you want, you can take one more parameter, let us say, or let us add is equal to x plus y. Whenever it receives xy values, it will take those xy values, it will add those two values and it will store in another parameter called add parameter. Then finally, once the result is ready, it has to return the result to the callee. Correct? So for that I am saying a return statement. It's a return keyword. Return add. Return add. So I have function name, title, and two parameters. Two parameters get added. They are stored in a add variable. Then I am giving back the result. So once the function body is ready, now I am calling the function. How to call the function? The syntax, again same, indentation is same. So here I have provided some indentation. I am going to execute two statements. Then I am saying total of, let us say if you want, you can pass a variable or directly a numbers. Let us say I will add 5 comma 50. Both are integers. Total 5 comma 50. Whenever I said this, so 5 and 50 are copied to x and y, and 5 and 50 get added, that is 55 is stored into add method, and add of return of add. So then the data will be returned back to a total to here. But whenever somebody is returning something, I have to receive it, right? If someone is returning back something, I have to receive, I should be a receiver. So here, where is the receiver? Receiver not found. So for that, what you should do, either you can take one more variable, let us say result, res, result is equal to total function 5 comma 50. Now he is the receiver. He will receive whatever data the function is giving. So here I am calling the function with two parameter 5 and 50. It will go, it will add, and it will return the result. The returned result will be stored to a variable called res. Now if you want to print the result, you can say print of res. The result will be 55. Understood? Other way, I don't want to take this receiver variable or extra variable, then you can directly write along with print statement, print of total of, let us say 15 or 17 comma 61. So I am calling the function directly. I don't have any receiver variable, I don't have this extra variable. Directly it will say print of total of 17 comma 61. Here I have two methods, so you should be observing two functions, correct? So print is a function, total is a function. Print is taking a parameter called a function call itself. Function call is a parameter to print method. So total has taken two parameters 17 and 61. It will copy to x 17 61, and 17 plus 61 get added. Add becomes 78. So 78 is returned back. 78 is returned back to the print statement. Then print statement will print of 78. So this is how the return statement works. So I will repeat once again. I have a total method which takes two arguments. I am passing two arguments. Whenever the result is coming back, it will be stored to res variable. There is a one way, and again I am printing res. The other way, very simplified way. Whenever you write coding, you should optimize your code. Means you should able to minimize the code with same amount of effort or same amount of results. So here I am saying print of total of 17 comma 61. It will go, it will add, it will come back to the print statement, and it will give the result. Okay. Next I am discussing about keyword in print statement or print function. Okay, let us take this example. I have two statements, print of hello, print of MIT. So what will be the output? The output will be, so whenever you write print statement, it is just, it is implicitly it has new line character. Whenever it prints the characters, automatically the control will go to next statement. Means the next execution part will not continue from here. Okay, here we have two statements, print hello, print MIT. Whenever you execute, or when you execute this two statements, you will get output in different lines. Means one after the next, means hello followed by MIT. Because as I said, implicitly print statement will print a statement, and it has also a new line character. So next statement will not be added or concatenated with a print statement. But still, if you want to add, if you want to overcome that. Let us say I want output like this. Instead of this output, I want hello space MIT, hello followed by MIT. Then you need to make some changes. Changes is this, hello comma, there is a keyword called end keyword followed by single quote. Means you are saying interpreter that print hello, then leave some space, don't go to next line, don't go to new line. So hello and just stay in the same lines, stay with same line. So here whenever execute this statement, you will get hello end is equal to a space, it is nothing but a space, it will give one space followed by, it will execute a next statement MIT. So you will get output as hello MIT. Okay. The same way we have another keyword called separator, SEP, separator. Assume that print MIT comma Mysore comma CSE. This is the output, this is the code. When you execute this program, the output will be MIT Mysore CSE. So this will be the output, MIT Mysore CSE. But you want each word should be separated by comma, then you have separator keyword. Separator keyword, it is just a very simple. Again you need to put a comma, say separator is equal to, within the single quote you need to specify what is the separator you want. You want separator like comma. Then each time whenever it execute the statements, individual strings, it put comma between those strings, MIT comma Mysore comma CSE. So this is what the two keywords we use with a print statement. First keyword is end keyword, second keyword is a separator keyword. So if you want to get a separator keyword with different characters, still it is possible. Let us, I want to get with star. So each time after the string or each character, each string, so will be separated by a star symbol. So this is the output for separator keyword. Okay, next we have local and global scope. Local and global scope. So in the previous programming languages, I think you have experienced about local variables, global variables, or local scope, global scope. Local scope is nothing but a parameters, variables which are associated with only one function or within the function is called as a local variable. Global variables are nothing but they are outside the function, means they are defined outside the function. They are belong to outside. Also, they are they can be used within the function also. So they are called as global members or global scope. So a real-time example. Let us say if you have if you consider your house, I can consider whatever things you have. Let us say TV, your washing machine or fridge. They are local scope. Only within the house you can use. You cannot take them to outside world, or you cannot share with others or neighbors. Only within the house. Let us say bike or cycle. I can say a very simple example. I can say they are global, means you can share with outside people or neighbors. You can give your bike to others, or you can give your cycle to others. They are global. They can be used around your area, or it can take outside your house. But the things which are used inside the house, they can be treated as local. So let us say take an example. let us take an example. Let us write a simple example. Def I'm counting, let us say I'm counting, I'm holding some x. Assume that I have some x. So I will say a function called count function, or I will say show function. Show function. So which has got some x. Let us say x is equal to 20x. This function has got some 20x. Let us try to print the result. Print of x. I have very simple function, a show function. I wanted to know how many x I have. So initially x are initialized with 20. X is a variable of integer type because I am assigning integer value. X is equal to 20. Then print of x. So whenever you print x, you will get output as 20 because it has got 20x. So now I am calling this show function. Show. Now if you call show function, what will happen? It will go to a show function. X is initialized with 20, then 20 will be the output, right? But now I want to print the egg value outside the function. Let us print of x. Will it work? So as I said, egg is a local variable. Within this show function, I have initialized egg with some value. Now egg becomes what? It's a local value. Then whenever you try to print those x outside the function, so you will get a error. So this is a error. I am using comment line, single line comment. I have got error because egg is a local variable which belongs to show function. You cannot access outside the function, correct? Okay, let us make egg as a global. How to make egg as a global? Just define and initialize outside the method or function. Let us say x is equal to 100. Now I will make 100. So x, I have a global variable called x is equal to 100. Then I am calling show function. I am initializing x with 20. Then print x. So what happens? You will get message as 20. Then show function is returned back. Then I am printing print of x. Now it will not print 20. It will automatically take global variable 100 gets printed because it is a global. Now this print method can access this global variable, not this. Now it is not the error. It is not error. Now it's a correct program. Now I have two variables with same name but different scope. Local scope. It's a global scope. Okay, next we have a global variable can be used in a local scope. As I said, local scope cannot be used global scope, but reverse is possible. Whenever you have global variable that is x is equal to 100 because it is defined outside the method 100, then you are calling show function. You will go to show function, but here print of x, but I don't have any local variable. So what your interpreter will do, it will automatically search for any global variables are available. Yes, there is availability of global variable. It will print as 100. Then from this print message you will get 100, and again from this print message you will get as another 100. Or if you want to change the value, after calling show function, I will change x as 50 and I will say print of x. Now you have 100, show function, you will get 100x. Then you come back, you are changing the global value. You can change global value any number of times. Now you are changing global value as 50 in the global scope, then you will get output as 50. It is a very simple example. Initially 100, go to local scope, use the global variable, come back, change the global value, print the global value. Now my question is, I want my local function to change the global value. I don't want to print 100 as a result. I want to print something else. Then it is possible. It is possible because of one more keyword called global keyword. Whenever you want to use a global variable inside a local variable, but you want to change the value, so then you should use global keyword. So here simply you should use global x. You should use global x, means you are making use of x, which is global. It is not local, it is a global, and you will change x into, let us say x is equal to 500, then print of x. Now what is the output? Initially x is equal to 100. Assume that you have 100x, then you are calling show function. It will go to show function. As the previous program, you should get 100 as a result. But now the twist is, you are making egg which is global, you are making use of egg which is global, but if you simply use egg, automatically you will get 100. But still I want to change the global value itself. For that I am declaring egg as a global. I am making use of global variable. Then egg is equal to 500. Then you print the global value is changed from 100 to 500. Now when you print the value, it becomes 500. Again come back. Again you are making x as 50. Then print of x. What will be the answer? Okay. Assume that this statement is not present. If you assume this statement is not present, egg is initially 100, it go to show function, change the value, print the value, come back to show where you have called show function. Then when you print x, it is not 100 because local function or a function has changed the global value. Now the answer will be 500. If you change externally, x is equal to 50, then the result will be 50, not 500. This is how the local scope and global scope works. Local means only inside a small function, global for entire program. So local variable will be used only within a small function or within a function. Global can be used within a function or full program or outside the program. If you want to change the value of global function, still you can use using a keyword called global, and the changed value will be returned back. Okay, this is the explanation for local scope and global scope. Thank you.